joined today by Coach Jake West of Tri-County High School, newly named first-year head coach, first opportunity. Coach West, thanks for joining us. And what about that job kind of interested you? I know you had been a defensive coordinator down at Madison, and we'll talk a little bit about that. What interested you in a job kind of 3 hours away from where you're at right now?
So actually, I grew up in that area. I went to South Newton High School, which I guess now is my big rival. So like that's, life comes full circle. And I had coached there previously as an assistant under Sam Zachary and Mark Grettencord. I was there for 2 years and built a really good relationship with a lot of the kids there. So actually, it's funny, the freshman class, my last year there, are now seniors, or going to be seniors. For my first year as a head coach. So like I do know some of the kids already, stuff like that. So I was very interested in getting back to, where I grew up and stuff like that, being around the people that I grew up with, and in a scenario where I already kind of knew what I was walking into. You get a job at a new school or a new place, none of your coworkers. I know 95% of my coworkers already. Like,
wow.
Yeah. So it makes getting into the flow of things really easy.
When you were looking for a head coaching job, was that one thing that was important to you, was going somewhere where you were familiar, or did it not matter much?
I think everyone always prefers to go closer to home. I think that's just like natural. But it wasn't like a selling point for me. Because I try to apply for any jobs so my goal was to be a head coach. Like I got into coaching. I want to do that someday. And the only way you get like ready for those interviews that you really want is by interviewing for other jobs.
Right.
So it's not necessarily like I want this job really badly, so I'm going to apply for it. It's I want to apply to see what am I missing? What can I improve on? How can I get better? So, and when that opportunity does come along, like this one did, I'm more prepared for it. So I applied for a handful of jobs, didn't get a call back from some, did get a call back from another. And I thought both this interview and that one went really well. And obviously this one went well. Yes, I thought that was a good experience for me. And it was funny as I was sitting there in the interview. I kind of compared it to, because that was my first head coaching interview as well when that job first came open 2 years ago. Or 3 years ago, whenever it is now. And I just remember feeling so unprepared because I had no one really to show me the ropes and how to get ready for stuff. And then all of a sudden I come back and I've got like my binder full of stuff, and my athletic director here is basically coaching me on like, this is what they want to hear from you. And my head coach here is like, this is what you got to present. This is what you got to find. Here's how you organize things. And I'm just like, man, like life comes full circle in just a few years.
We're joined by Coach West, the new head coach at Tri-County. And Coach, talk a little bit about your time as a defensive coordinator at Madison, what you enjoyed there, and how that role you think is going to prepare you for a much bigger one.
So I've absolutely loved my time at Madison. It's awesome here. Actually, funny story. So like I got this job here at Madison through Twitter, ironically. So one day, our head coach, Leroy Wilson, he posts on Twitter, we have, several teaching positions open. So I just shoot him a message. I'm like, okay, like what do you have? And we start talking. I interview for the DC job, and all of a sudden here I am. And it's weird how like just networking is so awesome with social media. As for my time here, so when I got here, I'm trying to remember, I had the stats looked up the other day. We were atrocious on defense from the stint before. Now, part of that was because with the new head coach, there wasn't a whole lot of excitement about the program because a lot of kids were stuck in the mediocrity. There wasn't high roster numbers. You get what happens. So they had like, again, this is a 4A school with a roster of like 30 kids.
Right.
And we are the smallest school. Well, we're the smallest school in the conference. We've since left the conference. But when you're playing 5 and 6A schools as the smallest 4A in like the state, and you have a roster of 30 kids, that doesn't usually end well for you. So first thing we did was we wanted to get the excitement back around the program. So we got some more kids out. We got a roster up to like 55 or so that first year. And looking at the stats from the year before I got there to when I did get there, and after a full season, I mean, third down percentage went from like almost 60% down to like 35.
Wow.
It's little stuff like that all of a sudden you give a little organization, you give a little gusto, and things take off. And if we could have just caught a few interceptions, like instead of just dropping them, I don't know why we can't just catch the football. That'd be awesome. We would have had probably like double the interception or double the turnovers as well. So that was cool. We did work on that this year, and I think we finished with like twice as many turnovers this year as we did from year one. So, it's looking at the metrics of improving and understanding what you're going up against on a weekly basis. Really, to me, like that was what stood out. Was like we're building something here, and we just need to keep the momentum going. So I felt like I was in a comfortable place that if I left, whoever stepped in could just continue pushing it forward.
Now being a head coach, a lot more responsibility, and now it's your program, so to speak. How what advice have you gotten? What tips have you gotten when it comes to now this is your team, as opposed to just being an assistant elsewhere?
So I'm actually at the high school right now, if you couldn't tell from the whiteboard behind me, and our passing period bells are songs now. So I just had Eye of the Tiger blaring in my room super loudly. So I missed most of your questions. So I'm sorry if you could reiterate that.
Yeah, no problem. That's pretty neat down there. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you're the head coach, and it's your program. What advice have you gotten in terms of how to handle that, coming from being an assistant on somebody else's staff to now this is your program, this is your team, those kind of things?
Honestly, like I'm lucky to have a lot of friends who are either head coaches or athletic directors. And I get input from them all the time. It was actually funny right after the job was announced. I'm up early in the morning, I'm working out, and a buddy of mine texts me. It's like 5 a.m. and he's like, "Hey," I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "What have you done to get better today as a head coach?" I was like, "It's 5 a.m., Cody. I'm working out." He's like, "Not good enough." He's like, "You gotta be better than that." He's like, "Always be improving." I was like, "Cody, come on, I'm working. It's 5 a.m." So that's kind of been the thing, is it's just, like I learned here from Leroy, you got to always be on. You got to always, like, you represent the program. You're the face of it. If even if you used to go to the grocery store and you look like semi-homeless, right? You're the face of the program. Like that's what they're going to associate you with. Like you have to be on 24/7. I walk out the door, I'm head coach Jake West. And that was kind of one of the things I took from him is just how important image is in this role and how you present yourself. As for, I guess, running the program, I've always been a big believer in be true to who you are, right? Like don't change. Just because you're a head coach now doesn't mean you need to change. Like, sure, like there are more responsibilities that pop up as a head coach, and you have to you can't be quite as fun anymore and stuff like that. But if your whole thing is that you build good relationships with kids, you become a head coach and suddenly you become just a massive butt, like the kids see right through that, right? They're not going to buy into that. So that's been another thing that's been just reiterated to me, is just stay true to who you are. Handle the responsibility, be the person that you are, love them, coach them hard, and just continue from there.
What about their program? I know you were busy with the defense at Madison. How much have you learned about Tri-County? How quickly have you been brought up to speed on what they have coming back and who some top kids are for you?
It's actually funny. So when the job first came open, a bunch of my former players absolutely bombarded my phone with calls and texts and telling me, like, you better apply now. I'm like, okay, guys, I will. Like, leave me alone, please. So they've been getting me up to, they're like, hey, these kids are decent running backs. You have these guys who are decent young offensive linemen. You got this kid who's a quarterback. You got this kid who's a receiver. And I think the good thing for me is part of the staff when I was there is still there. So there I do have guys that we put the beginnings of the staff together immediately. So I think that's awesome. The DC who took over after I left is still at the school, and he didn't coach last year. But most of the kids are familiar with his scheme and his system. So actually, I'm going to be turning play calling duties on defense over to him because they're familiar with it. If we're coming in and running a new offense, and then I just say like, no, I'm only comfortable calling defense. So you have to learn a new system on defense too. That's just twice as much those kids have to learn. So I'm like, no, you stay and do that. I was like, I'll put in a system on offense similar to what they just got done running, so it should be able to pick up quickly, and we'll go from there. So yeah, being caught up to speed, I've got eyes and ears all over the school already, so it's awesome.
That's nice. What are you obviously excited? What are you most looking forward to in the new role? Being back home, being finally getting a head coaching job. Which is it? What is it?
There's a lot of just really exciting things going on right now. So I have this like running argument that it's easier to be an offensive coordinator than a defensive coordinator. So I kind of would like to prove that correct and and have success on all. That'd be awesome. I'd feel really good if I just was like, yep, here it is. It's easier. uh, First time head coach, I'm just excited about getting back to work. So close to where I grew up. Like you said, like there's so many good things about this. Now we got bad. Yeah. Yeah. It's every day. It's awesome. I love it. Sometimes they change the songs up. I think fifth period is the Imperial March. It's awesome.
So you got to bring that with you to Tri-County.
I'm gonna be like, guys, like play songs on the radio. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that's so just excited about everything going on. Being able to call plays on offense, being a first year head coach, being around all my friends. Like I'll be within about 45 minutes to an hour of most of my college and high school friends, like my immediate friend group. So we're all kind of there immediately. So that's going to be awesome. Like I'm going to get to see people, have people at my games. There's just so much positive in this for me.
That's great. That's great. I know it'll be a good atmosphere for you on your season opener. And do you open at home this season or on the road?
I don't remember. I just know it's versus Carroll, and that's a huge rivalry game for them. I'm trying to think. I feel like it's on the road. I'm trying to remember the years because my last year there, it was at home. So it would have been away, home, away, right? That would be this year, away. So,
well, your home opener should be quite an atmosphere with all your friends and family there, I would imagine.
I'm hoping so.
Well, Coach, thank you for joining us. We wish you the best. Anything else before we hop off?
Not really. I don't know. I'm just very, very excited about this opportunity. Just ready to get to work. It's can't get up there soon enough, I feel like. So, go Cavs.
Well, Coach West, thank you for joining us today, and we wish you all the best up at Tri-County, first-year head coach. Looking forward to reconnecting with you and your program as we march a little closer to the season.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.